Hello again. Today's session is probably going to be a little bit longer than usual because we're looking at how you can improve your intelligence and your memory. And I'm sure most of you have heard of Alzheimer's disease. You know that it affects the brain and the way that you can think. And it's something that we all really want to avoid. And the good news is that you can through nutrition and through basically what you're eating. So we're going to talk about how what you eat affects how you think, and which foods and supplements will boost up your brain power, and also look at some practical exercises for improving your memory. So did you know that it's actually perfectly possible for you to boost your intelligence and your memory at any age? It really doesn't matter how old you are, because your intelligence and your memory are totally dependent on the quality of the food that you're eating. And I'll explain why. It's useful, first of all, to get a little bit of an understanding of how your brain works. And your brain's actually a network of neurons that connect with other neurons. And chemical messengers transmit messages from one brain cell to another. And we have 100 billion neurons, each one of them connecting to thousands of others. And neurotransmitters are those chemical messages which are enabling your brain cells to actually talk to each other. And you'll see from this diagram that in the top left we have a neuron, and it's sending a signal along one of its dendrites. It crosses a synapse to enter another cell, and there are receptor sites which grab on that message and respond to it. So it probably sounds very complex, and all of this happens without you being consciously aware of it whatsoever. So as you might imagine, it's quite a complex process, and it depends upon 5 essential brain booster foods. First of all, glucose. That needs to be balanced. You know, we're eating carbohydrates in Zestful Life because we need them. They're not just fuel for your muscles, but they're also fuel for the brain. And essential fats help to keep your brain well oiled and to keep those synapses working as they're meant to. Phospholipids are memory molecules. They help to build those neurons that I was talking about a moment ago. Amino acids are the messengers. These are the communications from one neuron to another neuron. And the intelligent nutrients, which are the vitamins and the minerals that fine-tune your mind, make it work at its optimal best. So I'd like you to pause the video for a moment and to do the brain food check that you'll find in the handout that you've been able to download. You'll find there is a section for each of these nutrients, and all that you need to do is to read the statements and tick the box if you answer yes to the statement. And where you tick 5 or more in that yes column, then the chances are that you're not getting enough of that essential brain food factor. So let's have a look a little bit more closely at each of these elements. First of all, the complex carbohydrates. We've talked about it before. These break down into simple sugars or glucose in the body, and they are the fuel for your body, and particularly your brain fuel. Because did you know that it consumes more glucose than any other organ in your body, and up to 40% of all the carbohydrates that you eat go towards supplying your brain? It's amazing, isn't it? And so an imbalance in the supply of the glucose to the brain can lead to brain fatigue, irritability, dizziness, even insomnia, poor concentration, forgetfulness, excessive thirst or depression. So it's really important that you eat the low GL carbs, because they're the best to keep the glucose levels stable and to keep giving your brain the fuel that it needs. And thinking about the fats, these are the architects of higher intelligence. If you were to dehydrate your brain, you'd find that 60% of it is composed of the essential fatty acids, those omega-3s. We can't make them. We must have them in the diet. So we need to constantly make sure that we replenish them because they are absolutely vital for your mental health. You need them for your mental, your emotional, and your physical intelligence. And when you've got the right amount of the omega-3 fatty acids in your diet, then your brain works properly. You can respond emotionally to situations in an appropriate way. And your brain, your body can coordinate with each other properly. And what that means is that your brain is going to be sending signals to muscles, to nerves, and parts of your body are going to be talking back to your brain. If you've got enough of the omega-3 fatty acids, that's all going to happen as it's meant to. So your best source of these omega-3s are the oily fishes. So that is trout, sardines, tuna, salmon, mackerel, herrings. Nuts and seeds are brilliant sources of the omega-3 fatty acids. Phospholipids are your memory's best friends. They help to make up the myelin sheath of all of your nerves. And how can we describe the myelin sheath? It's a little bit like the insulation that wraps around electrical cable and keeps the integrity of the cables within it. So it's vital for efficient brain cell communication. Memory neurotransmitters are made from phospholipids, and they're a vital material for your nerve cells and for all the receptor sites. So, if one brain cell's trying to talk to another, but the receptor sites aren't working properly, then the message just isn't going to get through. And phospholipids help to protect you against age-related memory decline and Alzheimer's. If you include things like eggs in your diet, fish, organ meats, and you sprinkle some lecithin granules onto your cereal in the morning, then you're going to be getting enough of those phospholipids. So Patrick Holford talks about amino acids as being the alphabet of the mind and the mood. Just like the letters in an alphabet help us to build words, amino acids are the building blocks of the neurotransmitters. Now, adrenaline, noradrenaline, and dopamine actually make you feel good. They stimulate you, motivate you, and help you deal with stress. So in the right proportions and at the right time, those amino acids are absolutely fine. GABA balances the stimulants, and that helps to relax you and calm you down after stress. So all the time there is going to be a fine-tuned balancing act going on between those particular sets of amino acids. And serotonin helps to keep you happy, and it improves your mood. Acetylcholine keeps your brain sharp, and it improves your memory, your alertness. And tryptamines help to keep you connected, in sync with your body rhythms and what's happening with you. For instance, melatonin is a tryptamine, and that keeps you in sync with day and night, so that you're wakeful and alert in the daytime and you sleep, hopefully, at night. And it also keeps you in sync with the seasons. So endorphins act like neurotransmitters, and they help to give you a sense of euphoria, of well-being. And just like serotonin, the endorphins are released when you exercise. So that's, a really good reason why you should be making sure you have some exercise every day. Now, your best sources of amino acids are really good quality proteins like meat, lean meat, fish, or vegetarian sources such as beans, lentils, quinoa, and tofu. The intelligent nutrients are like the brain's master tuners, making everything work in perfect harmony. So vitamins, minerals, they're needed to help turn the glucose into energy. They're needed to help turn amino acids into neurotransmitters, and so that the simple essential fats are turned into the more complex fats like the GLA, DHA, prostaglandins, and choline and serine get turned into phospholipids, and they also help to build and to rebuild your brain and your nervous system. So your best sources of these vitamins and minerals are fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains, and you'll find a lot more information about those in your handout. So let's have a look at the things which actually aid your brain and reduce its ability to function properly. First of all, oxidants. So what are oxidants? They come from trans and hydrogenated fats, and those are the kinds of fats that you'll find in processed foods, in margarines. They oxidize, they go rancid, affecting your brain function. And I'm sure that you wouldn't knowingly eat rancid fat. It smells horrible, and I'm sure it must taste disgusting. But fried foods, smoking, pollution, all affect the essential fatty acids in your brain. Cigarette smoking depletes your body of zinc. Now, zinc prevents the oxidation, so you can see it's really important, but it also helps the synthesis of serotonin and melatonin, those amino acids and hormones which help you to feel good. But zinc's also important for your immune system, and particularly in men for the health of their sperm and their prostate gland. So you can see how cigarette smoking is so damaging, not just for your brain but for other areas of your body. And so antioxidants are needed to protect the brain so that it doesn't get damaged by these fats and smoking. So your best sources are fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and oily fish. You know, you can see a pattern here, can't you? There's more details about these in your handout. The next brain agent is alcohol. Alcohol literally pickles your brain because it's totally incapable of detoxifying alcohol. That is the job of the liver. It disrupts normal communication signals in the brain, and it worsens your memory by dissolving the fatty acids which are within the brain cells. It's those essential omega-3 fatty acids. It blocks the conversion of fats into DHA and prostaglandins. And you know, I'm sure you've seen people who've had too much alcohol acting totally out of character to what they would if they were sober. And it's because the alcohol has totally disrupted their ability to discern their behaviour and to behave rationally. So alcohol's okay in moderation. Make sure you drink slowly and give your liver time to process it. But don't get drunk. That is just so damaging long term to your overall health, but especially your brain. And one thing that I meant to mention here is that your brain will destroy memory cells, and once destroyed, they're not replaced. And finally, stress. Maybe you've had a time where you've been really stressed and you've noticed that you've been a bit more forgetful than usual. You've not been able to concentrate, to think clearly. Everything's seemed just too much effort. And that's because increased levels of the stress hormone cortisol actually cause those dendrite connections to shrivel. And that's after just 2 weeks of high stress. You know, imagine what it's like if that stress goes on for months and months and months, and how that's affecting your brain. So stress is linked to poor memory, to Alzheimer's, but DHEA helps to control stress. It helps with the sex hormones and to build lean tissue and to reduce fat. So it's vital that you manage stress, vital you switch off that stress response. And you can do that by using the relaxation track that comes with the program. But also, if you are stressed, it's worth considering supplementing DHEA. So let's have a look at the very best memory boosting foods and herbs. First of all, the high antioxidant foods. That's your fruits, your vegetables. Make sure you've got a rainbow of colours on your plate so that you get a full spectrum of the vitamins and the minerals that you need, because they protect your brain from oxidation and they improve the supply of oxygen to your brain so that it can work properly. Zinc, you can, if you've got those telltale white spots on your fingernails, make sure